Welcome to Blue Collar Mystics, the under-the-hood approach to the depths of human consciousness. So many mysteries, so little time, so many big words. That's why we aim to take the mystical and make it practical, usable in your everyday life. And we want to hear from you. We want to hear your story. What happened when you started asking yourself the real questions? Like, who am I? What is this? Is it a hologram? Is this some kind of weird cosmic joke? Hey, these are the questions that we are trying to get to the bottom of as we explore the final rabbit hole together here as Blue Collar Mystics. All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast, Blue Collar Mystics. We got a new face in the house. I'm very excited and couldn't be more enthusiastic to talk to Bari, the Curated Tastemaker out of Austin, Texas. She is an image. How would you describe it, Bari? I'll let you do it.
I don't know. Wait, also, just wanted to clarify, I'm in the New Jersey area, actually. I have a lot of connections out in Austin. Courtney is one of my good friends. I'm actually going to be out there for a month in September. But yeah, I'm in New Jersey. Also, yeah, I guess an image consultant, personal stylist is the most concise way to say it, but it's not the only part of my work. And I just only have so much time in a day. So that's what it is for now, but I'm hoping it expands into other things, such as other artistic avenues like painting and making music. There's a whole lot of things I want to do.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. I mean, I think we all kind of are there, we're just like a wellspring inside of us to want to share and create. Really, ultimately, I believe that we're all creators. So my apologies. I just assumed you were in Austin because of Courtney. So
that's okay. I would love to be in Austin. So maybe one day.
It was a good time. I was there in April, got to see a couple friends, and we had a really, really good time. We got a chat's hopping. What's up, everybody? Good to see everybody out there. Hey. Thank y'all for being here live. Be sure to check out Bari's Substack. That's where I have been checking out a lot of her stuff. I've got a link underneath the description of this video, so go ahead and click on that and check it out. She's got a lot of stuff there. She talks about developing your style, how to use your intuition. She's very much in the same world as a lot of you all are, and I am, as far as spirituality, consciousness, and understanding that our external appearance, which is why I'm wearing my favorite shirt, my best shirt.
Okay, love that.
I'm trying to impress you, but not too much because I definitely.
I love it.
But we're excited to talk about this, and I want you guys to ask questions out there in the chat. What are some things that you could use a little bit of insight into? But first, before we kind of get into that, as far as like understanding taste and understanding, our own expression, tell us a little bit, Bari, about how you got involved in what you're doing now. How did you kind of assume this role as the curator, this Rick Rubin-esque kind of role?
Get out. You didn't just say that. That's the best compliment ever. Thank God this is recorded. Oh my God. Love. Thank you.
Don't make me spit coffee. Okay. Not on the shirt. All right.
Yeah. Sorry. Won't happen again. I'm drinking coffee too. Cheers. What did you say?
Okay. So I was just saying.
What's my story?
Yeah.
I started playing with clothes like since I could imagine. I'm the first daughter of my parents, the only daughter. And my mom got very carried away shopping for me as a baby, like a literal infant. My birth outfit is like crazy. I wish I had a photo of it. I'm wearing like a boa practically on. It's crazy. So yeah, she had a lot of fun dressing me up. And I honestly think there's something with like why my identity was shaped at such a young age, like to become this person, because I got so much positive reinforcement about my clothes all the time and like really grew into a sense of finding value in myself through what I was wearing. So it was like top of mind for me at a very, very young age to think about my presentation and to want to express myself in a way that sets myself apart from others. So it was kind of like part of my natural study of life and of self-discovery. And I found this overlapping nature of like self-actualization and, personality and a sense of self in the world through clothes. So I took that with me pretty much all throughout my life. My family's also incredibly stylish. I had 3 grandmas growing up. My dad's dad got remarried and they were all like incredibly stylish, as was my mom. Rated her closet constantly. I'm probably wearing something of hers at the moment. And yeah, so then I went to school originally for marketing and advertising at Penn State, and I didn't like it. So I transferred to LIM, which is a business fashion school in New York City. Finished my undergraduate degree there. I got a bachelor's in merchandising and marketing. And then I took a little bit of a detour, went back to the marketing route, and then decided I wanted to work for myself and just like fully dive into solopreneurship, entrepreneurship, and wanted to do that in a way that harnessed my greatest skill set and a way that I feel like impact my community and people in the most positive, most efficient way possible in the short term. But yeah, I definitely see myself exploring other things in the future.
I love that. Well, just real quick, and this is a little bit of a foray, and we'll come back to personal taste and style and art and all that good stuff. But tell me a little bit about what got you into solopreneurship and how you met Courtney, maybe too, would be kind of
sure.
You
Yeah, I got into solopreneurship. Well, my marketing career path was pretty positive. My last position, I held the title of director of paid media at a small marketing company. And I was really involved in the strategy of creating and, developing small brands and businesses and kind of kickstarting their advertising. So when it came to brand messaging and marketing, I felt very confident in my skill set, and I knew that I could apply that to my own personal brand. So I definitely had confidence that I had the business savviness to at least start, I had a footing. I didn't need to learn from scratch. There was a lot that I have learned since then. But I also grew up with 2 entrepreneurs as parents. So that is definitely good exposure and they also support me in like every which way. I have a very great support system. So that helped.
That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. My parents are both very entrepreneurial people as well. And it had a huge influence on me from very young. It was always kind of a game and something that I failed a lot at, but ultimately, I've learned a lot about. So I love that. I think that's so cool. And I love entrepreneurship anyway. I feel like I don't want to like project on everybody as an entrepreneur, or whatever. Cause whatever's good for you. But I really think that people have certain things that they can offer that are unique to them. And I love that. I love it when someone's courageous enough to actually step out and attempt to do that, especially if it's successful. Cause I like I said, I've failed a lot. So I know sometimes it's not always successful, but it's just fun sometimes, even just having the ideas and things. But that's amazing. Yeah. And so how did you come across Courtney Johnson's work?
Yeah. So that's a really good segue to her, because that's kind of what she's helping me learn, is to how to monetize my skill set and how to brand myself and position myself as a thought leader in my industry. So yeah, we met on social media. We met on TikTok. She commented on one of my videos and I clicked her profile and I saw that she followed me, and then I binge watched her videos and was like, this woman is amazing. I literally said to my fiance, I was like, I want to be friends with this girl, verbatim. Like, you can ask him. I said it out loud. And then I don't know, we were DMing, we were chatting over videos, and then I went on her podcast, and then we became instant friends. We met recently in person in New York. We had the best day ever. Like, it was so much fun. And we're just in constant communication. I'm a client of hers. She's a client of mine. And I'm actually going to stay with her for a month in September in Austin. So yeah.
That is amazing. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Like, what is it? What is that guy's name? Oh, I just finished reading one of his books, but he's like, you got to get your dream 100 together. Like Courtney.
Oh, I like that. I understand what he's trying to say. I don't know who said that, but exactly. Well, it really is. Like, I want to collaborate with her so much in the future. And I think it is all about, creating a mastermind group of people who have like-minded goals and have similar philosophies and all want to see mutual success. So yeah, let's join it. Let's start a group.
Let's start a cult. Let's start a cult. No, I mean, honestly, I've been talking to a lot of people just taking calls because I'm working on an offer right now, but I don't have a formal one. So I've just been kind of polling my audience and seeing what their needs are. What is it that you're trying to do? And I mean, 99 out of 100, they're like, yeah, let's do the cult. Like, let's just do it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like communism, it just hasn't been done right.
Everything is its own cult at the end of the day. That's why I do not want to identify as any single thing, because you fall so quickly into groupthink and you stop learning what it is to be yourself. So yeah, we could start a cult, but there are no rules. You could just do whatever you want.
Right. And there's no like formal leader. There's no like weird hierarchy.
Yeah, no, we just vibe.
I don't want to be a cult leader. I want to be a cult facilitator. It's like,
sure. We just start the party and then whatever happens, happens.
I dig it. Yeah, I really think so. I mean, that's magic. That's kind of like the book that a lot of the people that follow me, I'm known for reading this book called Reality Transurfing. So what's funny about that book is he talks about how when you find your goal, like just when you identify what your goal is, it turns your life into a celebration. And now the way that he tells you to find your goal is he uses the metaphor for shopping for clothes. Literally the metaphor that he uses, because he talks about going through the store and like things that are trendy and what what the salesperson might tell you should wear, because they're trying to make a sale. And like how to feel in your body, like what is actually right for you. And so I definitely want to
read this book.
yeah. I'll send you the audio. No
okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's a good book. It's long. It's a long one, but it's akin to like the Tao Te Ching, the Kabbalion, several other books that are in that vein, spiritual books that have a lot of similar concepts in it.
Awesome.
But yeah, I think you would like it. I mean, we're jiving, so I'm sure you would. And yeah, so I want to start to talk about that. Let's talk about your sense of style and how it developed. How did you see that like as a progression? Like when you were in school, were you like, just like watching people and how they dress, how they move, what influences were early influences for you, for your taste?
That's a good question. I definitely think my grandparents, my grandmas, they're the people that come to top of mind first. And then it's kind of no one else. Like, I think after that, I kind of internalized everything. And a part of what I'm learning in my adulthood as an artist, like that's just like life artist, I'm not very talented in any medium, but besides styling, which I think is an art form, but is to be more observant of my surroundings. And I think as a young child, and even up until recently, honestly, like most of my inspiration, I think I tried to pull from inside. I was never like a dedicated like Vogue magazine reader. Like I didn't have like a blog that I followed and like religiously read. And I kind of am envious of people who have, because I feel like they have so much more of like a technical knowledge and more of like historic knowledge than I do. Not that I can't read those things now. It's just there's so much stuff I want to read and priorities, you know what I mean? Yeah, so I don't know. I think it really was just, I mean, I guess I had to have been observing something to then internalize it, to then pull from it, right? But I guess I just wasn't really cognizant to it. I kind of just like let it flow. I really just trusted my gut, curated pieces, made mistakes, of course, but I was just never really afraid to look stupid or to look weird. Oh my God, this is funny. If one of my friends is watching this, her sister always used to joke that I could wear the like National Honor Society, I don't know what you would call it, like lapel sash on like a normal day and like make it look normal in an outfit. Like it's just, yeah, like, so I guess it's just like always been a part of who I am. And a part of what Courtney's actually helping me to do is like translate that into language to be able to teach people, because it really has been so natural and intuitive to me that like, it's hard to distinguish a process.
Well, I think that just shows that it's really a gift. That's just my opinion. And I think that's awesome. So if you can learn how to verbalize it, then obviously that's going to help to translate. One of the videos that I saw you do recently, you were just talking about like a white t-shirt and the simplicity of understanding the basics. So maybe we can start a little bit there and just talk about that for people. You know, how would you, if somebody's new to this, like myself, like I'm
Yeah,
completely ignorant. I think I have like some sense of style, you know, but like,
you
ah,
definitely do.
I wouldn't, you know, I looked up like lumberjack chic and I'm like, it's a little prissy for me, but like, I'm trying to define my style as
Yeah.
well and like understand, you know, what works for me. I'm going to see my barber is off today if he's in the chat. So I was going to get all dolled up myself, but I'll be looking good for the roast battle. So
Cool.
on
Well,
Thursday.
we could talk about your style another day if you're interested.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's a good point before I get into the white t-shirt thing, but you're not going to find your style through search terms. Like you're not going to find your style through a Pinterest search, even if you have the most like refined, specific terminology, because it's on someone else and it's algorithmic. Like there's nothing human about it. There's nothing truthful to you about what you see on a Pinterest page. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So you could find like little pieces of things, but understanding why they apply to you and why they make you feel a certain way, like how you could translate that to yourself. Like, I don't know, you could see something on someone and you can like it because it feels unexpected or because it feels on brand or it feels whatever. And then you have to contextualize that and say, well, what would feel unexpected for me? What would feel on brand for me? Like, how can I just take inspiration from this instead of copy and paste it? And I think that's gotten lost in the sauce of personal style. But the white t-shirt, yeah. So how many t-shirts do you have? Like, do you think?
I have a lot of black t-shirts. I went through a phase where I just wore nothing but just black t-shirts. You know, very, very like undercover emo, accidental goth kind of phase. But it was simple. I didn't have to worry. I didn't have to stress out about what I was going to wear. It was just like so easy for me to just put the black t-shirt on. And then I took actually a personal branding workshop. Was this maybe like during the pandemic sometime? But it was in Atlanta. It was really fascinating. It's called the Sam Christensen Workshop. He was a very famous casting agent from Hollywood. And what he did was he would take the fan mail that came in the 60s about certain actors and actresses, and he would essentially just double down on how people perceived of them. So if they seemed evil or if they seemed, very goofy or ditzy or whatever, he would just take that. And this is one thing that really impressed me about Courtney too, because she hacked her way onto that TV show. So she had this awareness about herself that most people don't. That's why I'm sure she ever took a workshop. But like that workshop really helped me to kind of understand what they call your essence. It's essentially like Sam Christensen, along with maybe some Jungian psychology, so archetypal, but they give you like all these different essence statements about you. And so you take those essence statements and you can kind of apply them. They're very abstract, but they were incredible. Like I don't want to sound too LA when I say this, but it was like I've never felt more seen. I really
No. I think that's so interesting too. And I have fallen victim to like the Myers-Briggs and the what is it called? Energy types, the manifesting generator. What's that called?
Yeah, human design.
Human design. I think all of these things can be like helpful resources to understand ourselves, but at the same vein, it's like just another Pinterest board. It's another sheet of terms and definitions that aren't actually what's inside. Like you're only ever going to be able to feel what you are. You're never going to be able to articulate it. So I think it's a tool, but I also think like we can't get too married to these things because that's how we keep ourselves trapped and resistant to our own expansion. But as far as the t-shirts go, the black t-shirts, were they all the same or did they have different fits and silhouettes and shapes?
Some did have a slightly different fit. Some were different sizes. Some had pockets. Some were V-neck. Some were, not. So they were different.
So did you have a preferred silhouette that you gravitated to more than another?
Yeah, definitely.
So that's kind of like what the point was of that video particularly, was just like your taste can be found in your white t-shirts. Like your taste isn't like, you don't need to go digging for it really. Like you can identify it really simply and really easily if you just pay attention. So that was kind of the point there. But yeah, just analyzing like, where does this arm seam hit you? Where does the collar hit you? What does the fabric feel like? Is it see-through? How does it drape on your chest? Does it go really well with a lot of your commonly worn pants? Can you tuck it in easily? Can you wear it on an airplane? Like whatever rules you create for yourself, why is it satisfying you in those ways? And then how can you apply that to the curation of the rest of your closet?
I love that. I think that's really, really insightful and fundamental too. It's a great place to start, like see kind of what we like about ourselves instead of maybe farming that out to, like you said, like some sort of a Pinterest board or, Us Weekly or whatever. It's like a lot of those things kind of turn us into parodies, right? We become a version of the thing that we're trying to emulate as opposed to working from inside ourselves and what our tastes and values are and displaying those externally, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, so so let's talk a little bit about
Someone
shopping.
making a joke.
What's that?
Someone making a joke in the chat.
Oh, they're always making jokes in the chat. I just
I'll take a look later. Yeah. Okay.
No, but yeah, no, I would love to talk about shopping.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's a good an interesting thing. I don't shop much. I'm a guy,
Mhm.
so I like to just go in, I get the thing, I get out of there. I don't like to spend a whole lot of time. That's just me personally. I know everybody's different, but
Yeah.
when it comes to shopping and trying to find things for yourself, like how do you recommend someone go? Should we bring a buddy, or should
You
we
should
go
bring a
alone?
stylist like
Right.
me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the best buddy you could bring is your critical thinking, like I think shopping is something people can be addicted to. Shopping is something that people can like find an escape in. And I think it's really important to have a self-awareness of that if you do abuse that, because you're you're wasting resources, you're wasting money, and you're confusing yourself if you're going to continue to buy things without a premeditated plan. You have to understand, like, if you're going to go shopping, I actually just had this conversation with a client today. She is going to LA for a conference, and she's like so nervous that she's going to go there and impulse spend because she tends to do that. She gets inspired in person and then gets excited and wants to buy things and then winds up keeping them, having tags on it, and getting rid of it 3 years later, having never worn it. Like, this is her pattern. And she's nervous. We just started our work together that she's going to go to LA and like have this like binging impulse spend. So I just reminded her, I was like, we came up with a list of things that we're shopping for based on gaps that you have in your closet. Like, these aren't just things that you think that you like or things that you think that you see on your Pinterest board that you don't have. Like, these are genuine needs when it comes to what's going to bridge your current closet to the most self-expressive version of yourself. So we have that list. You have that list to reference. If you're going to go shopping, just reference the list. And if it's not in the list, don't get it. And then I said too, I was like, after our work together or in an off phase, like, because I tend to work with my clients in seasons, have a note pinned to the top of your notes app in your phone that's titled like things I need in my closet. And as you're getting dressed throughout the day, or like, in the morning, if you find that you're really craving a black loafer and there's been 5 opportunities this week that you wanted to wear it and you don't have it, that goes on the shopping list. If you need a new white t-shirt because yours has started to get stains, like, even if it's not the most glamorous thing to add, it's not the most glamorous like aspiration, focus on the need based on what gaps you have, and that can help guide your shopping experience. And then we can get into the fun stuff and the experimental stuff. But like, before you have a firm footing on that, I would say figure out the gap and shop for that.
No, that's good. Yeah. I would love to know, just like, can you maybe share a little bit about like how you've worked with somebody, where they've come from and how they've kind of gotten to and started to understand a little bit better their style? Yeah, I would love to hear about that.
Yeah, definitely. So I was most recently working with a client. She's based out of New York City. I love her dearly. She actually has a really good sense of taste and style. She has like a curated life, like not overly curated where it's something that she puts a lot of pressure on herself, but like, she has a lot of synchronicities across many different aspects of her life because she really knows her taste really well. She has a very sophisticated palate. But that being said, and she even works in fashion, she felt like she couldn't break through a barrier in her closet. Like, she wanted to keep her closet really curated, so she would only buy maybe like 1 or 2 things per season. And in her closet, she liked to keep it very minimal. She didn't want to keep, adding. So for everything she added, she got rid of something. So she was constantly cleaning out her closet, and it was really hard for her to like conceptualize everything and try to build a capsule wardrobe, something that's going to take her, into her adulthood. And in her early 30s, that's one of her goals right now. So we really sat down, we went through her closet, everything that she has, everything that she likes, things that she doesn't like, things that she kind of likes, got rid of things that no longer serve. And then from the pieces that she identified that she liked, I built her an online closet. I can show you what that looks like after. I could send you like a screenshot of it, so you can share. But she took photos of her clothes. I uploaded them to her online closet. And then based on our conversation of things that she, or just things that she wishes she had more of in her style, which was like creativity and playfulness and color, based on these things that she was craving from her gut, we used the tangible pieces in her closet to build a shopping list of items that would enhance the items she already has. So after that, I went shopping for her, built her a whole lookbook for the spring summer season. And now she has like over 100 outfits to reference that combine both her old outfits or her old clothes and her new clothes. And I also worked on iterating with her so that she could take the outfits I created with her beyond, even the season that we curated for. That's another thing we could talk about. But I would say my number one styling tip is learn how to iterate. So yeah, I'll get into that later. But did that answer your question? She now feels much more expressive and excited. She wrote me a really nice testimonial recently that like she actually feels like she has become the woman she's wanted to be, which was really heartwarming.
I love that. Yeah. So for anybody in the chat who's like me and didn't know what the word iterate means, it means to say or perform again, repeat. It's repetition, right? It's going through and kind of, it's like a process, right? I guess it would be like anything else, any other creative outlet, right? Like everything truly is a process. No work is really ever finished, is it?
Yes. And that's where like the Tao Te Ching comes in, and like the things I like to read about in my free time do apply to how we develop our personal style. It's all a process. We're all constantly a beginner. Like we're all just constantly in a different phase of our own evolution. So taking it slow and focusing on the baby steps, as opposed to thinking you're going to go shopping and have this like immaculate dream wardrobe that you'll have for the rest of your life. That's not how it works. You got to take slow baby steps to get there. And in your outfits as well, you want to slowly be iterating too. Like today, this outfit was 3 different things. Earlier, I had a belt on, I had sunglasses on, then I threw a necklace on, then whatever. I'm just playing and having fun. But I consider all of them different outfits. I don't consider it one thing, like one outfit with different little floating elements. They all offer a different message based on the other pieces I'm choosing to incorporate with it. So understanding that too, like every little intuitively guided change that you make is important and should be recognized. That's really how you're going to build a distinct, concrete, confident sense of personal style.
I love that. Well, let's talk a little bit about those iterations and the way that we might feel. Because I can imagine someone who's like, okay, I'm new to this. I'm willing to give it a try. I'm used to my black t-shirt or whatever, and I'm comfortable there. And so let's talk about the different like feelings of comfort and uncomfortability, and what is maybe a good uncomfortable and versus maybe a bad uncomfortable. Like that just doesn't work, homie. Like, don't cut off the sleeves of your flannel or whatever, Okay.
I think that when it comes to your physical comfort, that's the most important thing. If you're not physically comfortable, like you can't sit in something, or you're constantly fidgeting with something, or it's itchy, like it's a no-go, because you're going to be miserable for the entire time that you're wearing it. And then you're never going to want to wear it again. So like, that's just, you got to get rid of it. If it makes you, there's a little bit of like rejection therapy that I think could be played with here, because I'm used to getting all different types of stares based on what I'm wearing, and I actually take it as more of a compliment than anything at this point. But I think it's a matter of reframing that, of feeling out of place. Like gauge your level of discomfort there. Like, are you okay feeling like an outsider? Like that's what it's going to have to come down to, even if it's only internal, even if no one's actually looking at you that way, like you might feel that way inside. So I think it's a matter of playing with that. And if you are willing to like experiment a little bit, like, I don't know, just challenge yourself for the day, like wear something that makes you uncomfortable. Nothing bad is going to happen from that.
Fair enough. Yeah. Do you want to hear one of these zinger jokes that's in the chat?
Oh yeah. Okay.
All right. Okay. It says Bootsy actually only wears turtlenex in person, as you can see right now. All styles, though, traditional bear midriff, and even
I would love to see that. That's very unique, I have to say.
Well, as you can see, yeah, it's just like.
What is his style? I'm curious.
He's a barber. I'll send you his IG.
Okay.
That's my personal consultant, at least for the moment. I got to add to my
your style consultant, your roster. Yeah,
that's right. Okay. My original. He's my OG. But yeah, that's my barber. I'm actually going to go see him tomorrow. I was trying to. He takes Tuesdays off. So, but yeah, awesome dude. He says the black T-shirt is the perfect outward expression of my soul. I consulted a witch doctor in New Orleans, and she told me so.
Wait, I wish I was just in New Orleans. I wish I consulted a witch doctor.
There's like a whole strip of them, dude. Like they're everywhere.
Wait, I did get scammed by a tarot card reader. But
did they do? Oh, really?
Yeah.
How did they scam you?
I knew he was a scam. I just was scared to go to the real one, you know?
Fair enough. They have this one con in New Orleans where they're like, I bet you I can tell you where you got your shoes. Did anybody try that on you?
No, what is that?
Well, they basically are like, well, it's whatever street you're on. And so they're like, now you owe me $20. It's like the lamest con ever.
Do they make money from that? I'll do it.
I mean, I guess so. I guess some tourists are just, just NPC'd out, you know what I mean? So like, here, $20. Oh, neat.
Okay.
That was authentic New Orleans.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I loved New Orleans though.
Yeah, I liked it too. I really actually enjoyed it a lot. And I could see myself spending more time there. I don't know if I could live there, but I could temporarily, like for a while, hang there. But yeah, that's so cool. Sorry, I got a little distracted.
No, that's okay.
It will happen in the chat. My friends are hilarious, so you'll have to forgive them.
Wait, give them their moment.
Yeah, I'm happy
to say.
I'm happy they're here. Thank you guys all in the chat for hanging out. You're making it lively. And if you guys have any questions in the chat, like do seriously ask, because this is.
Do you have any questions?
This is a fun, open conversation that we're having, and I'm really excited about it. Like I said, I really think, I think a lot of people in the spiritual community, they might be like a little bit hesitant to lean into this because it seems outward, but it's like the way that you're describing it and the way that you're talking about it in your development, it seems like it came from inside to display outward.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about that a little bit?
I would love it if that would be awesome.
Yeah. Okay. So I've like that this has been I would say one of the greatest challenges of my life is like understanding my fascination with the material and the spiritual, because I wouldn't say I studied Buddhism, but I would say that was something I have read about extensively and really resonated with. And I felt like there was always this like goal of reaching nirvana and like, really exiting the physical realm. And I thought that was an enlightened life. Like I thought that was the goal, but I went through so many phases of like rejecting myself and rejecting my innate desire of, curating luxury things, curating vintage things, artistic things, because I felt like it was so vain based on these principles. But I just don't believe that we would be born into a world that forces us to interact so intensely with the physical if we were meant to live without it. So I've really been trying to reframe my relationship with everything that I interact with physically, like food, music, my, books, like the things that I watch on TV, although I did just watch Love Island, like I'm not going to lie. But everything that I interact with in my home, like I want it all to feel intentional and to feel beautiful and inspiring. I want it to feed me. And I think that that's what it's there for at the end of the day. Like that's why I don't really think there is such thing as a bad taste or bad style. It's all a matter of preference. But I think there is such thing as lazy style and lazy presentation, and that's what I don't jive with as much, because if we have to interact with this world, like we have to respond to our physical environment. It's just a matter of how you do it. So you don't have to do it in the way that I do it, but I think do it intentionally, you know?
I 1000% agree. Yeah, it's a balance. Like I'm currently obsessed with the Bhagavad Gita, and so that's just like such an amazing book. And you know, like we are here. He's talking about so much. There's also David Hawkins' The Map of Consciousness, where he's talking about kind of going up in these levels. He's starting at desire and then going up into anger and then pride and then courage and then finally indifference or neutrality. And it takes me like a lot of times I wake up, I'm in desire. I'm actually going to make a video about this week.
Ooh,
but
okay.
I'm in desire. I can feel it. I'm like wanting something and I can feel that. But if I can push myself to, first of all, catch myself where I'm at, then I can get myself up into those higher places. Anger is a really powerful tool, actually, as long as you don't direct it outwardly toward other people, because you can be like, what am I doing wrong? How, you know, where did I fuck up? And how can I make myself better, my circumstances better, and then use that as some leverage? Then you kind of get into the pride level. And then ultimately, if you bump up into that, you get into this indifference where you can literally appreciate and enjoy physical things, but without the need to have it, you know, like my precious, you know, sort of vibe, you know. Totally. So I couldn't agree with you more. It's like my house, the way that I actually just recently took all the art down and had it painted, and I'm going to go through everything that I have and then redeck. I actually have something on the way that someone painted during a live stream. I should be here this afternoon. I'm super excited. Yeah, my friend was awesome. But I want to see it. It's really cool. And so I'm going to get that framed and probably put it up in the living room. But I used to have another piece there. I've got a couple of other pieces that were gifts. A lot of the things that I have were gifts, but they're truly my taste. It's like my mom used to have sort of a saying. She'd be like, that's karma that's like karma clothes, or like, that's like a karma painting or whatever, is kind of like how she would say it. And so I want to go through, you know, all of those pieces and just, you know, put them up and have them, you know, like, because I visit God in there a lot. You know what I mean? Like we hang out.
You should make your own art in there.
Yeah. Well, I've tried, and I'm not the most talented at drawing or painting. I've done some,
but I'm taking classes right now.
That's so cool. Yeah.
But I don't think it matters. I think that as long as it's inspired, right? Like I don't think it has to look beautiful. Or I have this like crazy guy, like people that don't like him, you know?
I like him.
But I mean, of course there's technical skill involved in creating that, but art can be anything. And I don't know, like I have a shitty painting of mine hanging up in my bedroom. It just feels good that you've made something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I painted some canvases just flat colors one time because they were like, for whatever reason, we did like photos in front of those particular canvases because I just wanted that color scheme of orange, red, and yellow. And you know, it was cool. I kept those paintings. I've put them down or taken them down now, but I mean, it was just really flat. Actually, if it's all right, I'm going to grab something off the shelf.
Yeah. Oh my God, I would love to see. I'll show you something after.
So these are not mine, but these are my friend Wendy's, and she's an artist out of Australia. I love her to pieces, but a lot of her stuff, like, it kind of scares people. It's like it's like creepy but cute. But I have a lot of her stuff, but this is one.
Stop. What is it, like a sculpture?
It is. She's a sculptor. Yeah. So
can you send me her information?
Yeah, of course. Of course I will. Wow. Yeah. And then she does other stuff too. I got a little baby Yoda from her as well.
Cool. Wait, so what did she make it from?
She makes it from polymer clay and then bakes it. And then some of them have like little hairs coming out of them and stuff, but she calls them little minions.
Courtney's going to love it too.
Yeah, she is super talented, and she's just a factory. You know, she's like at the point where she'll just sit here. Like she was over visiting for a few months actually, and she would just be sitting in my living room, and she's just like talking to me. We're listening to podcasts, we're listening to music, whatever, and she's just, her hands are just going. They just don't stop. She's just an absolute factory. And
so how long does it take for her to make one?
I think one of these, she could make something like several of these just in an afternoon. You know, she'd make like,
cool.
Yeah, like a whole tray.
It's so cool. I love the detail around the lips.
It's so realistic, right? And
it is.
You know, the teeth are just like so real.
Oh, wow. That's so cool.
But yeah, but absolutely, I'll send. But yeah, she's, you know, just someone who's very unique, who's leaned into her own style. Like my mom sees this stuff and it scares her. You know what I mean? She's like, I love Wendy, but I don't like the little split-tongued demon or whatever.
Well, isn't that interesting though? Because I think that's a part of confronting your own taste too, is like seeing what makes you feel uncomfortable and asking yourself why it matters if you're uncomfortable. Maybe it's a good thing to be uncomfortable sometimes.
Well, that's kind of what I was asking you about, as far as like wearing different things, like peacocking, right? Like if I'm going to go out with a boa and like a big top hat and like some big platforms or whatever, like I would
That's a good game. So I have these like creativity games that I work on, and I'm just adding on to the list, but that's a good game, is to like go out, is like, again, rejection therapy, like go out and go peacock, like wear the craziest, boldest thing that you ever can for an entire day. And then you'll probably never fear that again.
I love it. Yeah. I actually do rejection therapy too. Just like talking to people socially. And I freaking love it, because like to me, it's so funny. Like I like to just like walk up to somebody and see if I can get like the rudest kind of comment back. Like I'm not saying anything insightful to them, but it's always really funny. And it's like, the more I do it, the nicer everyone is to me.
Oh,
like,
wow.
I just can tell that I've been through it. It's kind of like an open mic. It's like a social open mic where you just go out and you just like start talking to people. And this is part of the reason why I've been able to feel myself move through those levels of consciousness. It's because like so I was in Panama City with my brother, and he recently had a bad car accident in the winter. So he was like, he hurt his foot. And so he wasn't able to go out or do anything. And I was like, man, I'm taking you out. We're going out to Panama City, you know, Panama City Beach, the Redneck Riviera. And we went out everywhere. And and I don't drink really. So, you know, I'm just out there sober. And we go to these like little nightclubby, it's not really a club, but like a bar club type of thing. And they have a DJ and stuff. And I would go out and I would like start to talk to people, and they're just like, they could tell that I was like in a weird mood, you know, but a couple hours would go by, and then I would like just start closing my eyes and play a game and like start dancing through the crowd, you know, just like do that game. And then I'm like, I'm pleasing myself, right? Like I'm just going through, like not touching anybody, but like, you know, going through and just, you know, dancing through the crowd. And then I go and I'm just like having fun myself, getting into that neutrality place where it's like nothing matters. If somebody talks to me or if they don't, it doesn't matter. And then people would just start coming up to me and be like, hey, what's up? Let's talk, you know? And it's like, it took intentional effort to get into that emotional state, but it's totally doable. You know, it's like an improv or
that's such a good point. That's such a good point. And you're so right. Like it's a gradual step too. Like sometimes when I fall out, I would refer to that type of state as like a flow state. So when I fall out of a flow state, I can sometimes put a lot of pressure on myself to like get back in. And I expect it to be this like portal I jump through, but it's more of a slow movement. Like you said, like it's just climbing up the ladder. And then once you're there, you're right. It's like, every step is as easy as the next. Like jumping from here to here is daunting, but jumping from here to here to here to here to here to here. And then once you're here, you're just chilling and you're like, why was I ever anywhere but here? It's so simple.
Exactly. Oh, it's frustrating because then you're in a great mood, so you can't sleep and you feel awesome. So it's like you're watching the sun come up and you're like, I just really now I want to go to sleep, but why can't I just be feeling this way all the time? It's
and you can, but like you said, it's a deliberate effort. Yeah, that's so interesting. There's a good resource I can link for. Do you have like an email for people after this or something? It's called The Cheat Code to the Universe. Have you read it?
Oh, it's on. Yeah, I have actually.
I just read it yesterday again.
Good.
It talks a lot about this, like the scales of, you know, transcending certain emotions, and how when you embody the principle of being as relaxed and as nice is in like kind, not nice as in like superficially nice, just relax and be nice, the more you do that, like the more you sink into that and really embody that, the more good things happen to you. It's like, this is a law of the universe that we're not taught, and it feels cringy or it feels woo woo or whatever, probably on purpose, because why would large structures and corporations want you to have access to this information? It's real, like it's actually real. And we're also energetic beings. Like, I don't know if that sounds woo woo either, but that's science. And you can sense each other's energy. Like we have a sense of intuition. You right now speaking, me speaking, I'm just the ego. Like I'm just the ego, but there's this whole other part of me that is my body, that is my subconscious mind, that is a higher plane of existence that I can't really see, but I can feel if I shut up. You know what I'm saying?
The Atman.
So I don't know what I was saying.
I didn't mean to throw you off.
Oh no, that's how tiny my attention span is.
No, that's okay. Yeah, well, we were talking earlier, guys, about
document
social media, you know, and
yeah,
what it's done to our psyches. My God. But like my friend Kevin here, he's in the chat. I actually met him at the bar over here on Friday. And dude, Kevin, I was just, when we met, I was coming off of that social flow state. Like you saw me yawning a lot. But like the night before, I was walking around and I was just putting up flyers for the comedy brand, like Athens Comedy and all this. And I would just be walking around the bar, and I would literally see people, you know, like a lot of girls were just like, come talk to me. Like I would just be like, okay. And then I would like roll my eyes.
An inviting like energy.
Yeah. I could just feel it. I was like, okay. And I was like, give the eye roll, like, all right. And then I would come over and be like, hey, I'm just promoting this thing, you know, yada, yada. And we're talking because I'm just trying to connect with the community here as much as possible and basically be a resource and embed ourselves and intertwine ourselves as much as possible in the community to help other small businesses, to do other comedy shows and events and all that kind of stuff. So I got in this great like state, like during that whole Thursday night, and that carried over into Friday. I slept for 3 hours and then I felt great all through Friday. And then right about the time when I met Kevin at this bar over here, I was like starting to feel like, like sinking. And I was like, I was like just physically, like just didn't have physical energy.
Yeah.
But I was able to get myself up in that state. The whole night just started out with us sidewalk chalking and talking to strangers on the street about the comedy brand. That's all we were doing. And we started just riffing with people on the street and whatever. And then a lot of people were like, I'm going home. And I'm like, I feel great. I'm going to keep walking around. So I'd go up and I talk to people, and some people will recognize me too. So that's why they give me eyes too. Cool. They're like, I saw you, you know, at this show, or you were funny or whatever. And so I would just kind of picking up on those social cues, that emotional. But I think a lot of times, depending on where we are in our own level of consciousness, let's say, like we don't even notice that. A lot of people are just kind of walking around with the blinders on, and they can't even, and especially guys, because we tend to just spend the majority of the time in our left brain, a lot of us. So it's like we're just very like masculine and focused in business and process and linear thinking, right? Whereas like, you know, there's no play there, there's no openness, there's no, you know, goofing and joking and riffing and that kind of stuff. That opens up that other part of our brain, which gets us into those higher levels of consciousness, I think.
Yes. Totally. There's a lot that I wanted to respond to there. Let me think first. Let's take it back a notch. You said that you had a cool interaction. Can I tell you a funny story?
Please. I love funny stories.
This was like, it's actually, I guess it's not that funny, but it was cool. It was like one of the coolest moments of my life. I had started a really religious, like morning routine, not religious, like abiding by any specific religion, just religious to myself. And I was feeling probably the most like Zen I've ever felt in my entire life. And I was walking around my local boardwalk, and someone came up to me and he said, I have to ask you how you look so peaceful, and can you help me? And I shared some resources, but it was like, okay, like you can feel it from a ways away. Like it's not just you and I interacting, like you can sense my energy, but I'm having a profound impact on this local environment just by the way that I feel. And this is what I was going to say. Like you are a part of nature. You are a part of an organism that is self-sustaining and works itself out. It heals itself. It revitalizes itself. It grows new life. It takes care of itself. You are a part of that. And the universe wants to work itself out through you. But when you question things and when you create resistance, all you're doing is preventing your own success. It's not that it's an inevitability that you're going to get to a final destination or whatever final destination that looks like, because of the whole free will aspect of it. Like, you're going to get to some sort of positive place. How far you're taken to a place of positivity just depends on your resistance to the flow. There's a quote by, what's his name? I don't know. But like, if he said, Leonard something, if I am not the water, I would be seasick every day. And if you're not just in the essence of the ever changing, ever moving, ever dying, ever rebirth of nature and of yourself, like embodying that of yourself, like seeing what cycles need to die that you're perpetuating, seeing where there is room for growth and improvement, and allowing yourself to change and going with the change of life. When you allow that, beautiful, serendipitous, way better things than you could ever imagined would happen for you. When I'm in flow state, miracles happen to me every single day.
Yep. I mean, same. I mean, absolutely the same. And I just looked that quote up. It's Leonard Cohen. It says, if you don't become the ocean, you'll be seasick every day. And I think this is a huge, huge hack. Like, because what it does is when we can get up in there, we stop thinking about ourselves. It's like that desire, anger, pride. That's all fucking ego, all just pure ego. And it's like, I'm like, I was working with a client today who's one of my best friends. I adore him. We're working on a YouTube channel for him called Enlightened Endings. He wants to help people who are passing over. That's his whole thing. He was an ICU nurse for so far like 15 years. So he's seen kind of all of it. And, he's like, well, I want my video to be like this and I want it. And I'm like, stop. Yeah. What is it that they need?
Exactly.
Because as soon as we make that shift to what the person on the other end actually needs and forget about ourselves, it's like, well, I didn't get my beard's kind of, I don't want to be, on the internet with the little video I made this morning. I was like, oh God, I'm all like I should be in a loincloth. She's going to tell me to wear a loincloth, because that's how I felt, was like very like gruff and rough and what, but it's like, you know what? People don't care about that. They care about the message. They care about how I can help them. And so as soon as we can be like, hey, think about it like this, the person on the other side, the person who needs your help, what do they need to hear? I think at that point, like, you can do so much so quickly and really start to accumulate, resources if you need it, whatever it is that you need, because you're not self-focused anymore. Instead, you're really focused on helping other people.
Totally. And I think that's like, we keep learning the same lesson in different ways throughout our life, right? Like, that's a lesson that I've always returned to, is that giving is always better than receiving. Sometimes you need reminders, and sometimes you learn the lesson in a different format. Sometimes it's through your romantic relationship. Sometimes it's through your community and who you're serving. And then I think it's also important to ask, like, what do they want? Like, what does the grander scheme want? Like, today, stupid example, but like, I was on a video call with someone and the call wouldn't work for like 10 minutes. We were experiencing technical difficulties. And I was like, okay, should we just not have the call today? Like, is it just not meant to be? Is it not, like, what would be the way that I could go with the flow in the most right now? Like, what does nature want right now? What is nature requesting of me? And what am I resisting? Like, because even in that tiny example of like trying to reconnect with him over this video call, I was experiencing frustration. He was experiencing frustration. There was a lot of unwanted, unnecessary, negative emotion. Whereas if we were just like, okay, it's not working, like, let's just do it tomorrow. And then tomorrow, and granted, again, it's a stupid example, like first world problems. But I mean, that analogy can be, you can use that as a metaphor for many things. So I think going with the flow of nature also allows you to release the need to control everything, which also just allows you to be in a more positive mindset and then relax into loving kindness. It's like, it's a way of being, I think. And it's a way of being that I want to practice more because
Yeah.
like you said, it's a deliberate effort. It's not just something that you wake up and you're either, you know, I don't think enlightened is the word, but you're either this more enlightened version or you're not. Like it's really a choice.
Yeah, it can get really easy to just kind of lean into those sort of lower, and from the consciousness scale, the Hawkins, I keep it on my phone just so I can reference it all
Yeah.
the time, because it's like, am I trying to control stuff out here?
Right.
Because if I'm trying to do that, I'm not coming from the right frame. I need
Right.
to check myself, because that's force, and that's, you know, the dark side, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
Are you a Star Wars fan?
absolutely, I grew up on.
I was just talking about this with my fiance. I think I need to like dive into it. I know a little bit about it. I know the overall premise, but I think that it would be a good watch.
I think it's an excellent metaphor for many, many things in life. It's probably one of the best examples of the hero's journey ever, because he was maybe the first one to really make that the template for the whole story. But yeah, I like the one with Jar Jar Binks. Don't watch that one. But you know, the ones from the 70s are so good. Like there's definitely this. Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I actually just did a video with Paranoid American where we broke down a movie, Spartacus. I think they made it into a series recently. And I think the series is pretty much the same script, more or less, but it was one of Kubrick's films. He actually got hired at the end of it to kind of finish making it, because whoever was doing it first, they weren't happy with. But it's one of earliest works. But I mean, same kind of thing where it's the hero's journey. And a la the Bhagavad Gita, it's like some story that you could internalize and really experience, you know, in yourself, right? Like that's the beauty of it. And so a lot of these stories, Star Wars really being one of them, Spartacus, the Bhagavad Gita, like they're all really kind of these metaphors for ourselves and overcoming the limits of ourselves, our own greed, anger, frustration, desire. And I've been, you know, challenged by a lot of this stuff recently. So I'm not coming from some holier than thou place or whatever, but it's been great because it really does give me the awareness and the perspective to be able to connect with people who are having the same frustrations. Really, that's why I'm a cult facilitator, not leader. Nope, I'm not qualified.
Yeah, no. Who is though, you know? No, I'm sure there are qualified people, but I totally agree and resonate there.
And we did have one question, and we got so into it that I didn't
missed it.
Bring it yet. But let's see. It's from Cyrus. He says, Barry, do you have advice for helping someone meet their edge to express themselves through fashion or clothes?
Yeah, I would say define edge. Like define edge, and there's your answer. Probably.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, we can explore that further, but I think that's really what it comes down to. And who do you see that has edge? Like if you can't answer that right away, where do you see it in the world, and what's the through line? I
love it. Very simple and straightforward.
Yeah, because I can't answer the question for you. You know what I mean? Like I think that's the whole point, and that's kind of my philosophy with my styling clients is like, you have the answer to the question. I can make it work. Like I could do the magic, but like you just tell me what to do. Like you tell me what you want to feel, and then, you know, it's pretty easy for me.
Yeah. And Will's got one more zinger on the edge line. You ready? Mm-hmm. Hot Topic's got you covered.
What does that mean?
Hot Topic, the store. Have you ever been in there?
Oh, okay. Perfect. Yeah, no, that's true.
Very edgy.
Let me think of some others as well. Etsy probably has got you covered. Eats Meets West, probably problematic, but yeah.
Yeah. It's just, you don't want to be, what is that word? Appropriating. So be careful.
Yeah, be careful.
All right, Ethan, we talked a little bit about what inspires you to get into this. We talked a little bit about that at the front of the episode. And Barry talked a little bit about how she grew up and her grandparents and stuff like that. So I'll refer you to that.
Someone asked me.
And so Sarah says, thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, you know. But yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, dude. Let's see. Anything else here? Great pod so far. Yeah. Thank you guys so much. Yeah, Tolkien for sure.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah, and that's another one too. They're saying the Lord of the Rings, also a great example of story, the hero's journey, that internalized
Lord of the Rings, yeah.
sort of experience. And yeah, I mean, the hero's journey, that Joseph Campbell stuff, that was also part of that personal branding workshop that I took. It was kind of a mix between Carl Jung, Joseph Campbell, and the guy, Sam Christensen, who's no longer with us, but his whole thing was like, how can we take how people perceive of you and just double down on it? Let's just go hard on what that is. And I think we talked a little bit about.
Yeah, we could have gotten into that, I guess, a little bit more.
And that like rejection therapy.
Yeah.
Any tips for people who are like, I'm apprehensive, rejection therapy seems like it scares me. Any tips for people who are like, all right, I want to undertake this, but I'm a little nervous?
Yeah, but it's going to maybe sting a little. Your ego keeps you mediocre. So just who cares? Everyone's going to die and nothing matters. Just do it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Seriously, right? I don't know.
100%. Yes, we all have an expiration date. Guys, we got to get out there and just, go for it. What is the worst thing that's going to happen? Like death,
just close.
Good luck.
Yeah.
It's going to happen anyway, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's bad advice, but I think that like your ego keeps you mediocre, like always chucks me back into a place of like asking myself what my real goals are at the end of the day. Like, do I want to just satisfy the needs and the expectations of everybody else, or do I really want to push the boundary and see my potential? And I usually choose the second one.
I love it. Yeah, I really think what you're doing is awesome. Let's talk a little bit about how people can get in touch with you, how they can work with you, and what that looks like.
Yeah, definitely. I'm very active on social media, unfortunately, for my mental health. But yeah, I post on Instagram and TikTok, and I do write on Substack. Substack's my favorite medium. I'm trying to become a little bit more consistent there. So yeah, you can interact with my thoughts and work that way. And then if you want to work with me, I offer consulting services on a one-to-one basis. I'm also creating a course, which I don't have too much information to share at the moment. But yeah, if you wanted to work one-on-one with me, you can see my website or book a discovery call. I have like a link in bio where you can do that. I offer 1 hour style sessions if you just need like a quick little maybe inspiration refresh of the things you have in your closet. And then I'll recommend 5 pieces for you to shop afterwards. Or we can do what I was kind of illustrating with clients I was referencing earlier in doing more of a full wardrobe transformation and lookbook creation. That's my like signature styling service. And then I also do interior styling. I'm starting to get a little bit into creative direction. I want to tread slowly and carefully because I've got a lot on my plate. But yeah, if you're interested in just like having a chat, we can always just book a call.
That's awesome. Yeah, I will advise everybody to definitely check out Bari's Substack. It is very, very insightful, and it'll help you kind of like demystify a lot of the stuff. It sounds so sort of hoity-toity, but you're so down to earth. Like I love your approach. I think it's awesome. And of course, like,
thanks for having me. I had so much fun.
Yeah. I had a blast too. Yeah. Everybody check out all Bari's links. I've got them all beneath this video.
Tuning in.
Yeah. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for making it festive in the chat, y'all. Y'all are the
That was my brother, by the way, he was like, what inspires you to get into this?
Okay.
Like, I would hope that you know.
And I'm so sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. How would you know?
We covered it at the beginning of the episode.
Exactly. Thanks for coming, Ethan.
I'm so sorry, dude.
No, don't be sorry.
No, thank you all.
Oh my God, Deb Massour.
Yeah.
That's my fiance's mom, my mother-in-law. Thanks,
Deb. Oh, hi, Deb. How you doing? We're gonna feature you here.
Deb.
What's up, Deb? You rock. Friar Pazel. I got a podcast coming up with him very, very soon. At the end of the month, we're going to be talking about the Bhagavad Gita. Ooh. So y'all be checking that out. I think I have something next week, but I can't even remember what it is. This was so much fun. This is what matters now. And like I said, check out all of Bari's links. I've got her link in bio with all the things that she was talking about. That's a link. And then also I have specifically her Substack link underneath this video. Go check it out. Go check out her Substack, book a call, and yeah, enjoy.
Thank you.
Yeah, share this stuff out. You know, if there's anybody, Deb, that you think would enjoy this awesome pod, then shoot it over to them. It'll help me out on the algorithm, and it'll help Bari out as well. And I think it was a fun conversation, so I'm proud of it. You know, and and yeah, and then we'll see you all next time, and we'll drink some Gita-ritas. All right, that's I love it. Thanks everybody so very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Cheers and much love.
Cheers. Bye.